Saddam everyone, hello and welcome to the stream. Today we're going to be talking about the symmetry of the face. We were talking about how the face reflects many of our qualities on last Tuesday, not just the face but also the body. It is not a coincidence that we can see in the person's face how they are feeling. This is something by design. We have been programmed genetically through many years of evolution to understand what somebody's feeling and through their face and other symptoms of Hassanam, Isabel, hello, welcome to the stream. We can observe in the body, observe in the face, we can tell what's happening with them. And that's useful for our own survival. It has been useful. Now, when we are holding a particular kind of emotion within for a long time, and that emotion has a manifestation outside through the face and through the body, not just emotion, but also emotion, then that's going to become imprinted in ourselves. And so people who are carrying a very heavy weight on their conscience, on their conscience, or people who are having a heavy load of responsibility, you can feel it in the weight that they are like over here. Yeah, this is the heaviness of responsibilities, and they walk with that heaviness on top. People who spend a long time worrying, you're gonna see it in their forehead. You're gonna like frowning. You're gonna see this frowning. I remember one day I was waiting in a train station, waiting to catch the train to go home, and I was just looking around, and then there was this trolley coming by, and there was a baby, and the baby was like this, like that, like all frowning, really, really strongly like that. And I'm like, oh my God, like a baby really, really intensely frowning. And I was like, what's happening here? That's so unusual. You don't often see babies like that. I mean, worries is something that appears, with the formation of the mind. And then so I was so surprised, and I looked up, and there was the father and the mother, and they both were like this. And you could tell it wasn't just that day they were worried, but it was something that was like these layers of worries, like sediments, in a mountain. It was like layer upon layer upon layer, and that was manifesting in the baby. We have a good set of neurons in the brain which are there to copy each other's faces and to understand what the other one is meaning or saying or feeling through this copying behavior. And it helps us to connect on an empathic level and to understand what the other one is feeling. And it also helps us when we are very little to learn. So by copying our mother and our father, what they are doing, especially with the face, it helps us to copy, also to produce the right sounds when we are learning language. And again, we come back to the concept of survival. If I see the scout is like surprised in the face and lifting the eyebrows and opening the mouth, I'm gonna be surprised of seeing the scout surprised, and I'm gonna be at least a little bit. What's happening? And then I open my mouth and my eyebrows open up, and it's all designed to be aware, because there might be a predator, it might be something dangerous. So any surprise is potentially dangerous to your survival. So wake up, don't be in the clouds, wake up, what's happening? So by me copying him, then any other person who sees me with a surprise, they will also be very alert. So we copy faces, and also if we hold that face for a long time, this stays within us. So that's something we were talking about last Tuesday, and in the last video on the Karan Kriya training on number 5, that was regarding the face, numbers in the face. I was talking about that, and I showed this diagram, this very simple, a little bit silly drawing, but showing how the different quadrants with the corresponding pairs of numbers manifest in our face. And today we're going to see examples of this. I put together a few examples of famous people, because there's more pictures of famous people and it's easier to see. Particularly, there is one photographer who takes full frontal picture of the face. That's Martin Schuyler or Schuler. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I apologize, but I appreciate that he makes very, very clear pictures of the face. And we're going to see a few famous actors, particularly, which we have the face very clearly. And we're going to see the difference between the right and the left face. And with this, I'm not going to analyze much. We're just going to see what's happening, and I'm going to say a few things about what to observe. And then the invitation is that you do the same with yourself, and then you do the same with any people that you may be interested in knowing them a bit deeper. So you can do that by yourself. It's very easy. You just have to take a picture and then make it as full frontal as possible. If it moves a little bit, it's not so clear then. If the head is twisted, you have to make it so that it's straight. And then you cut half of the face and then you copy it on the other half. You're going to see an example in a minute and I'm going to show it. But before I show you the example, then let me just mention this thing. This side of the face, the right eye and the right corner of the mouth, this is the side of the face that we are showing to people. Saddam Infinity, hello, welcome to the stream. I was mentioning on Tuesday how I've had situations talking to some clients when they are speaking and this side of the mouth is speaking, but this one is not moving because this is connected to our heart, so our feelings, and this side is connected to our emotions. So this is the more, let's say, how do you say that? So there's two types of learning. There's cognitive and there is affective learning. So the cognitive side would be more like the mental, intellectual and intelligent aspect of ourselves. And the affective side is emotions and feelings. So that manifests in the face. I didn't go into that last Tuesday because I wanted to do this video. So that manifests in the face so that we have, this is more like the cognitive and this is more like the affective. This is the affective, this is the cognitive. So this is how we consciously or we would like to present ourselves to the world. This is the image to the world, particularly this corner, but in general, this side of the face, which is incidentally the masculine side of the face. And this is the feminine side of the face. And we say it masculine and feminine because feminine is more associated to emotions and feelings. And therefore, this is more like an internal side. This is how we feel. This is how we show it to the world. So we may pretend to be very, very well and nice and happy, and we will show it over here. But internally, how do we feel? Are we truly happy? Are we experiencing that emotion? We're going to see it here, especially here, but in general over the whole left side of the face. So hopefully the premise is clear, and we're going to go straight for the examples. Now, I did them right now, right during my lunch. I was having lunch and preparing these images, so apologies if it's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect, but I did my best in the little time that I had today to do this. And so there may be a few things which are not very, very well aligned, but let's see what I came up with. All right, we start with a very, very good face. This is Jack Nicholson, right? Very famous actor. And you will see that in the images, you will see that the images have, let me see, like this, two corners, yeah? And in the two corners, I write left or right if it's only the left face or the right face. And when I don't write anything, it's the full face. This is the face of him. Satnam Sohel, good to see you here. Good to have you here. So this is a very famous actor, and so why am I using actors? I mentioned before because it's easy. We have good pictures of them, but you can do this with anything you want, politicians or leaders or whatever you want. All right, so I have here the face, and I'm going to show you the difference. So the idea would be if we cover a half of the face, what we could do is, sorry. All right, let me explain this one moment. What we could do is take this image, and we could just look at it like this, and see what we see and try to understand it, and then see it like that and try to understand it. But the best way, I think it's easier because we are not used to seeing only half of the face. So what I did is I take the left side of the face and I paste it, like turn around, so that we will see the whole face is like only the left side but duplicated. Does it make sense? So we know that we have standards of beauty assigned to the symmetry of the face. This is very common studies on psychology that they do. Now we're going to see that even the most beautiful faces, they are quite asymmetrical, and so I mean, Jack Nicholson is not somebody that when you see his face you will think, oh, he's very symmetrical. Already you can see some differences, but they will become even more explicit when I do this thing where I cut and paste one side of the face. So let's go for that. This is the left face. So you will see now these are both left faces, so they are symmetrical. And so you see this is, the original, this is only left face. So this is how he is within. This is how he shows himself outside. This is the right face. And when we put in contrast the right with the left, we can appreciate the radical difference between one and the other. Now, whether it's dark or light, it could have to do with the lighting on the room where they were taking this picture. I remind, this is Martin Squeller who was doing the pictures. So it's not so much about being dark and light, even though you can already see also there is a certain lightness to one face and a certain darkness to the other. And you can appreciate it particularly with the opening of the eyes, with the left and the right, the left and the right. There is a certain kind of dropping of the eyebrow and a little bit of the sadness in the eye. But there is also, you can notice it in the corners of the mouth. Look at the left, look at the right. Yeah? And the lines around the mouth, the lines are much more pronounced on the right side. And yes, the lighting is going to affect a darker side is going to be pronouncing the lines much more, but it's very, very significant. Right and left, right. Also the eyebrows in general, they change a lot. Again, I'm not going to analyze and pretend to know what he is, how he feels, what he does inside. I'm not going to do that. That's not the objective. The idea is to observe how different the two faces are. Okay, so this is Jack Nicholson, and we're going to take a few more examples, but let me just move around because when I'm doing this, I cannot read the chat, so let me check. Yes, Infinity D says, so many yogis are known that after practicing yoga and doing their sadhana, their physical structure changes from DNA, even changes in the face that are obvious. Yes, so because everything is connected. Body, emotions, mind, and spirit is all connected. And if we live our life in a disconnected way, in a disharmonious way between what's happening in the body, what's happening in the mind, and what's happening with the spirit, then this disconnection, because something that should be connected, but we are disconnecting it through this harmonious living, it's going to manifest in these different levels. And so through the practice of yoga, in which we find this alignment of body, mind, and spirit, and also what we are inside and what we project outside, namely the left and the right side of the face, this is going to create changes even in the face. I mean, it's obvious. If you have somebody who is very angry, you're gonna see it in the face. I think there is no doubt about that we all know how an angry face looks like. Now, somebody who holds anger within for a long time is going to manifest in the face, and you will recognize that very quickly. As this person is doing not just yoga, but any sort of a spiritual path, any sort of personal development or therapy or anything like that, any self-growth is going to create changes in what's happening in them and also in how it manifests outside. So yeah, it will manifest in the face very, very easily. But I think, and I think this is why it is also connected how we are attracted to symmetrical faces. It's been a long time since I read some research on that, so I don't remember very much why was it so. But I think partly is because I think it was a sign of health, having the two sides of the faces very symmetrical when many diseases are gonna affect your face in a particular way. Maybe some spots or something is gonna come up. That was one thing that was coming up, I believe, health. But that's just like a perception thing. So it's not like, okay, I'm doing yoga and hopefully my face is gonna be more symmetrical, right? It doesn't work like that. But yes, there is going to be changes in your face, and particularly those muscles which are associated with some form of joy and peacefulness within. So, for example, when we see Buddha smiling, he smiles from here. Yeah, the Buddha smile is from the cheekbones, and so there is some practices in yoga in which we press in these points underneath because we are holding tension, and then we work on elevating this point, and there's a lot of breathing like blowing through a tube, which are going to put tension in the lips and the cheeks. Cheeks is number 6, by the way. So it's through doing these practices you will feel more radiant and more charming and graceful. People are going to feel changes in your face, but that doesn't mean that your face has to get symmetrical. It doesn't have to be that. All right, so let's continue. We saw this gentleman. Let's go now. Left face, right face. Okay, let's go to Angelina Jolie, considered one of the most beautiful women and actresses. And there's something about this picture. I said I did this very, very quickly. Now, seeing it again now, I notice that the face is not... I mean, I cannot say for sure, but it looks like she's not absolutely looking straight. There could be, I mean, when you look at the nose, it looks very, very, very straight. It could be that she's turned slightly to the right, a little bit, and a little bit of inclination in the... I don't know if you can see the pointer here. A little bit of inclination in the forehead, so that implies that the whole head might be inclined a few degrees. Now that's going to affect when you cut by half and do the 2 copies. But yes, you will see a lot the difference in the cheek, in the jawline. You're going to see that a lot. But okay, this is her face from the front and the standard face, regular, normal. This is the left face. So you see, it seems like the face becomes wider. And I think it's due to what I was saying, that she has this little angle. Yeah. But you can see it's symmetrical. Now it's a fully symmetrical face. You can still recognize her. But you can tell a part of you, when you see her like this, it's like, there's something unreal about it. It's like, that doesn't look like a regular person. It's too perfect. You see, too much symmetrical, too perfect. While she has a very symmetrical face and considered very beautiful, that this is something about it is wrong. This is the thing about the perfection, right? Too perfect is like not possible. So, but yeah, this is the left side. So that's her inner side. This is the right side. So let's see. Again, the widening and the short and this, the narrowing of the face. I believe it's due to this little subtle turning of the face, but it's quite significant when you put it like this. There's a lot of changes in expression in her eyes. Yeah, I didn't do this very well. I think even maybe the line where I cut was not good enough, because the bridge of the nose, you can see, is much wider here, and here looks like a smaller nose. So it's not very good example. Okay, so I'm gonna skip Angelina. Let's go to another man who is considered very beautiful. Why am I taking these people? I mentioned, actors are easy because you have pictures, but also because they are considered to be very beautiful, and so because of what I said about symmetry in the face. Oh, let's take a look at him. All right, this is the original photograph, and try to guess what you see differently now. Because, this exercise is useful to train yourself to observe these differences in real time. You don't want to see somebody and then have to take a picture and then go to your computer and do the whole line. But can you train yourself to, looking at the face, pay attention to one side or pay attention to the other and recognize what is happening? That I find that very useful when I'm talking to people. I always notice, pay attention to one eye or the other eye. Generally look towards the left eye, because that's the eye that is going to talk more about the connection to the soul and emotions. But I do look at both and I see what's the difference. And I think if you pay attention, you can already see a difference between the left and the right eye. Now his head is quite in balance, so I think it will be much easier to see this example. So this is straight, this is the left face. Amazing, huh? Amazing. And here you can see again how it's so symmetrical, it's almost impossible. It's like, this is too perfect, right? This is his face. This is the left side of the face. This is the right side of the face. And the difference is almost scary, how different it is from one to the other, to the one to the other. And you can tell, well, does this smile seem genuine? How about this one? How about this one? Is it even a smile? I think in one of them it looks like a smile, but the other one is more like, I don't know how to say that in English, but it's a different gesture. Yeah. Let's see a little bit more. Pay attention to the cheekbones. You can also do the corners of the nose, which raise in a number of emotions like disgust and anger. You can see how there is this side here. I don't know if you see the pointer, but yeah, around the nose. And the hardness or the softness of the face, and particularly the eyes. The left side, the right side. Is it interesting? Now let's see him again. This is the original picture. And now seeing the original picture, maybe you can force yourself to see only the left or the right and notice the subtle difference. When you see the face like this, it's very subtle. When you see the face like this, it's so strong. It's not subtle at all. The same person. I think I did a good job here dividing the image in two. You can see the jawline. Very strong difference. Even the amount of tension held in the jaw. All right, let's go to another one. Now, Al Pacino doesn't have a very symmetrical face at all. You can already see it from here. We can see how there is a lot of difference from one to the other. And having trained ourselves in the last two cases to see how the face manifests in one side or the other, I think now we are more ready to look at a much more different face And just even before cutting it, you can already perceive a lot of things, right? Now this image, this face, his face is particularly difficult to cut because the position of his, let me see, this side of the face is more towards that side of the face. So it's like if you draw a straight line, like the straight line, it cannot go through the middle of the nose, through the middle of the eyebrows, and through the middle of the lips and the middle of the chin. It cannot. That's not a straight line. That's more like it has a twist. So it's even harder to cut in half, but just comes to show how asymmetrical is his face. So we're going to see the difference. Let's see. This is the right, the feminine side. This is the left, the masculine side. This is the motions and feelings. And look at this frown. It's quite amazing, huh? But yeah, tight lips, tension in the chin and around the mouth. And different tension is not so tense here. The frown is still here, but it's different. You can see different waves around the eyebrows. You see? You notice the muscles? You see how the muscles change? I think I said masculine and feminine the other way around before. So this is the feminine side. This is the masculine side. The right is the masculine, the left is the feminine. I may have said it wrongly because it looks so different. I mean, if you had to guess which is the masculine and which is the feminine, you would say that this is a more masculine face, this is more feminine face because of the softness with it. But actually, this is the feminine, this is the masculine. So this is how he shows himself to the world. This is about how he feels within. Does it make sense? So the showing yourself to the world, what's actually happening within. Out, in. Let's go back to the original face. You can see now, coming back to the original, you can see a lot this asymmetry. And hopefully now we can understand better by looking at it. Let's revisit all of them again one more time. This is the inner feminine side, outer masculine, original. Let's go to the right, masculine, showing himself to the world. How he is within, feminine side, masculine, feminine, original. This is the masculine, this is the feminine, masculine, feminine, original. This is the masculine, this is the feminine, masculine, the feminine, masculine, feminine, and the original. And I understand that, I mean, this looks more like a feminine face than this one. This one looks more masculine, this one more feminine. And they are all the case except for this feminine, which this one looks a little bit more feminine, maybe for me. But that has to do about how you relate to that energy, to the masculine and the feminine energy. Anyway, that's what I prepared for today. It was I didn't have that much time to prepare more images, but it was interesting. Maybe you would be interested if you have found this interesting. Maybe you would like to take a picture of somebody and do that, or especially yourself. I invite you to do it with yourself and to write down the date of birth. Write it here and put it on your face and see how it looks. And now that we start to learn what the numbers are, we can see how they relate to the different sides of the face. And for me, with a beard, it's difficult to see, but you can see it more with the eyes. This is a number 9. I have a 9 in here in the date of birth. And here I have a 77 with a 5. So maybe you can see some difference in me. But yeah, you can try with yourself, take a picture, and see how it feels. Anyway, that's all for today. I think it was a very short video. I'm used to doing over an hour videos. This will be the shorter in a long time. But that's all from me for today. So maybe, yeah, I will come back some other time and maybe we will do some other thing. Next week we will carry on with number 5. We're almost finishing number 5. And we have a few more very interesting videos to come. And then we will move to number 1 shortly. I already have the schedule for August. August is a difficult month for me because I don't know when I was going to be on holidays and when not. Another holidays that I'm planning. So I didn't put on the community tab when was I going to be streaming. But I'm figuring this out, and as soon as I have it, I will put it there. And 1 week I will do, or a few days I will do something special, something different. So stay tuned for that. But until then, for now, thank you very much. And until next time, Saddam.